Hello, welcome back to my channel, Dark Enigmas, where we talk about mysteries that are on the darker side. Today's case I got absolutely lost in. It's one of those cases that will keep you up at night. There's no clear answer. It's a complete mystery. It's insane. So let's dive in. So today we're talking about the Jamison family. This family consists of Bobby, the dad, Sherilyn, the mom, and their daughter Madyson, who was 6 at the time. They're pretty regular, run-of-the-mill family. They're from Eufaula. I know I'm not saying that right. Oklahoma. Tell me in the comments how you say that town, because I have no idea. But they're pretty normal family. They wanted to purchase a big plot of land and kind of live off the land in a storage unit that they had on their property. And they wanted to kind of get out of town, be in the country. So good for them. That's what they wanted to do. On October 9th, 2009, the family packed up their daughter, their dog, some camping equipment, and they headed out to Sandboys Mountains, which is there in Oklahoma. And this is a pretty rough terrain. When they say mountains, it's pretty rough out there. They met with the landowner that they were going to buy the land from. And then they kind of just stayed on out in the mountains. They went on a small walk when they were done. They parked their truck on a dirt path. And then the family just vanished. They were just gone. For a while, their family and friends weren't concerned. The Jamisons kind of always had a reputation for leaving for a while and coming back. Like I said, they wanted to live off the land. They had kind of a reputation for doing this. So there wasn't big alarm bells in the family or friends' minds. They just left for a camping trip. On Saturday, October 17th, 2009, a couple of hunters found the family's truck. They found it parked about an hour away from the Jamison house. The family was nowhere to be seen, so there was a huge search. There was more than 400 volunteers, there was ATVs, cadaver dogs, and it was just as if the family vanished. So to the investigators, the truck was very puzzling. First, they found their family dog in the truck. It was very malnourished, it was very hot, and the family, they wouldn't just leave their dog behind. The dog ended up being alive, being fine. Just to ease your mind on that, I know I was wondering too, the dog is fine. They also left behind cell phones, Sherilyn's purse, their wallets, their maps, any GPS that they had, and a large amount of cash. $32,000 was put underneath the seat. The vehicle was in working order, had fuel, and had not been in an accident. To investigators, the money was a very odd thing. To have that sum of cash underneath your seat, in your driver's seat. And it was puzzling because the family was on disability at the time, and it didn't seem like they had a large amount of cash just to carry on them. I think maybe it was to purchase the land. Maybe they thought they needed money to purchase the land that day and then they didn't. Or maybe they were hiding it there. It is odd that they'd have that amount of money. So also in the truck, they found an 11-page letter from Sherilyn. This letter said that she wanted a divorce from Bobby, that she was upset, that she didn't want her daughter, and that she hated Bobby. This letter kind of was a big part of the investigation, but maybe she just wanted to vent. I mean, I know a lot of people write letters that they never send just to kind of get their anger out. Maybe they were having problems in their marriage, but yeah, this was a weird letter. And to say that you don't want your daughter, it's very strange. At the truck, there was no sign of a struggle. There was no broken glass, no blood. The truck was messy, like things had been thrown about, but there didn't seem to be anything that stood out to police. That was it. It seemed like the family had just completely vanished. Then, November 16th, 2013, about 3 miles from where the truck was parked, deer hunters discovered skeletal remains. This area was very remote, and the bodies were so decomposed that it was kind of hard to tell whose it was. The skeletal remains were just kind of bone fragments at this point, but there was some clothing and some shoes from the victim. They were positively identified as the Jamison family 8 months later. Now, a lot of people wonder why they hadn't been found by the cadaver dogs, by the searchers. This is a big point of just mystery for everyone. The police say that weather had a lot to do with it, that falling leaves hid their bodies. It's very strange that they weren't found, but I guess nothing's impossible. But this area was very remote, weather got to them, animal activity got to them, so who knows really. Now, the weird part was that all of these bodies were found lined up and face down. This comes back later in our theories, but it's very weird how they were positioned. And they were all so decomposed that the cause and the manner of death was undetermined. We don't know what killed them. Now, the ME, the medical examiner, said that Bobby's skull had a tiny hole in it. And at first they were wondering if maybe it was a bullet hole. And they can't determine that really. But they also said that it could have been from animal activity. So really, we don't know. The investigators went right into trying to track down leads and figure out who this was, but nothing panned out, and we still have no concrete answers about how the Jamisons died, why they were there, really anything. The sheriff said, with this family, anything is possible. This case, the facts in this case are confusing, but the theories are so much more confusing. So that was the facts of the case. That's what we know, and really, we know nothing. We know absolutely nothing about what happened to this family. One day they vanished. They were skeletal remains, and that is it. We don't know why. We don't know their cause of death. And I think that's why there's so many theories in this case, is because, like this sheriff said, anything is possible. There is theory after theory after theory of what happened to this family, and none of them make 100% sense. So let's get into the theories on what people think happened to the Jamison family. The first biggest theory that comes up is that they just simply got lost in the woods and died of natural weather conditions, accident, basically. Did they go for a quick walk and then get lost? Did they fall and get hurt and couldn't get back to the truck? this is a pretty common theory that people have said that, okay, they got hypothermia and they just died. Now let's play a game called Here's What's Wrong with That Theory. Here's what's wrong. They were all lined up face down. Very like execution style. If they had hypothermia, if they were lost in the woods, don't you think that they would be huddled together or at least face up? I mean, I don't know anybody who dies face down unless something is happening. And they were all that way. You'd think if like hypothermia got to one of them, they would be in a different place. It's very strange. You also don't freeze, I feel like, face down. You would be face up. And this little girl is 6 years old. Don't you think her parents would be huddling her, trying to keep her warm or something like that? This theory does make sense and it doesn't make sense, just like every other theory. Also, they were only 3 miles away from their truck. I mean, stranger things have happened. Maybe they got turned around, it was at night, and they were just not understanding. But these people liked nature, they liked being outdoors, and you'd think that they would at least kind of know their way around a little bit. But stranger things have happened. The next theory we have in this case is murder-suicide. Now, Sherilyn, of course, wrote that 11-page note that kind of set off a lot of alarm bells in investigators' minds that maybe she was looking for a way out. Sherilyn had also tried to commit suicide before, and she was known to carry a gun. Before this event, Sherilyn and the whole family, but mostly Sherilyn, had been acting very strangely. She believed that her cats were being murdered, and she had just been acting strangely. She was clearly sad and depressed from the 11-page letter, and then also her family and friends say that she had went through bouts of depression as well. But again, let's play Here's What's Wrong with That Theory. Sherilyn and Madyson both never had any evidence of bullet holes at all. So if Sherilyn did shoot the family, there was no evidence of that on the bodies. Also, the biggest thing is that there was no weapon around. If Sherilyn had killed the family and then killed herself, where were the weapons? Where's the gun? There was nothing around. Some people believe that maybe someone had found the gun and just picked it up, not knowing that the family was there, but that seems strange too. This is crazy. Like, what in the world? Nothing makes sense in this case. Our next theory is that there was a satanic cult hit out on the family. Sherilyn's mom believes that there was a hit taken out on the family by a satanic cult. Now, there is no evidence that has been found that backs this up at all, but it's definitely a theory in the case. What's wrong with this one is that it just doesn't pan out in a lot of hard evidence. It still could be true, but we just don't have any evidence of it. Our fourth theory is drugs. This is a theory that a lot of people go to, that nothing makes sense in this case because this family was on drugs. The area that they lived in, Oklahoma, was pretty highly known for drug activity, and specifically meth, which would kind of explain why nothing makes sense in this case. Also, Bobby had supposedly reported someone for having a meth lab pretty recently to when they went missing, so maybe that had something to do with it. That also could explain the large amount of money. Maybe they were dealing, maybe they were buying. I don't know, but that's a large amount of money for drugs, but I don't do drugs, so I don't know. Now let's play What's Wrong with That Theory? Why would drug dealers not take the money in the car, or anything in the car for that matter? Maybe they didn't know that the money was underneath the floorboard. Let's give them that. Why not take the wallets, the GPS? I mean, I don't understand that. Maybe you guys could clue me in. Also, when the family's house was searched, there was nothing to indicate that they were on drugs. There was no paraphernalia, no drugs to be accounted for at all, in the house or in the car. All right, so our next theory is foul play or pedophiles. Now, foul play makes sense in some ways. They would have taken the weapon, kind of why they were out there. Foul play makes sense, but it also doesn't make sense. A lot of people wonder if pedophiles or someone was trying to harm Madyson. That makes sense, but it also is odd. It's odd that there was money that no one took. It's just an odd theory. How did they know that Madyson was going to be there? That type of thing. Bobby's dad was also known to be a very dangerous man. He was involved in gangs and meth. So did he murder the family for some reason? If this was foul play or murder, these people got away with murder. These people are still out there. If they murdered this family, they got away with it. Our last and final theory is the witchcraft or possession theory. There was some odd behavior that happened before the family left for the trip. Supposedly, the family's pastor told investigators that Bobby came to him and said that there was basically spiritual entities in their home. The pastor described the family as going through spiritual warfare at the time. Bobby asked for special bullets that would be able to shoot the spirits. A witch's Bible was also found in the house. I don't think that has much to do with anything. One of the friends said that they bought it as kind of a joke. I mean, even if they were practicing witchcraft, I don't know how that would cause all of this, but I guess who knows? The family had planned to live in one of those large storage containers that they had on the property. Before they went missing, Sherilyn painted some very odd things on those storage units. One of the quotes she painted was, "3 cats killed to date by people in this area. Witches don't like black cats killed." Now, if she believed that people were harming her animals, maybe she just did that to scare them off. I don't know. The family and friends described the house as having a very heavy, bad energy. People had seen spirits. People had noticed how the house just was depressing. And the fact of having a haunting in this house could explain some of the weird behavior that we got with this crime. The weirdest part of evidence was after the family was found, there was video footage outside of their house on the day that the family left. This footage is very jumpy, it's very grainy, but it is described as the family loading up their car, loading up everything to leave for the trip. People have analyzed this footage and found that the family was kind of in a trance, that they weren't talking to each other, they were moving very oddly. And this video, you can find it pretty much everywhere on YouTube. I will link the footage below. People think that they see multiple people in the footage. People have spent hours and hours trying to analyze the movements of the family in this footage. For me, I think the footage is so grainy and jumpy, it's hard to tell anything. They're just walking. They're just walking to and from the car. But maybe people are seeing something else in this footage. If you see something else, please comment below and let me know. Now, my opinions on this case. Oh, first of all, and this is a lot. In all of my research on this case, it's hard to come up with a definitive answer. The game of what's wrong with that theory points to the fact that nothing makes sense. You can find a flaw in everything. It's one of those cases that just will keep you up at night. I definitely deep dove into this case. I tried to figure it out. I was even laying there last night what do I think? What do I think about it? And it's so hard to come up with a definitive answer. There's so much information and then there's no information all at the same time. I think personally that the witchcraft or possession or spirits theory is kind of strong. I think that because nothing makes sense, and usually when nothing makes sense, it's because something very strange is going on. I know that Sherilyn had done some seances in the house. She was, of course, getting into witchcraft. Is it possible she opened up something that she couldn't come back from? Who knows? It's odd that they seem to be just wanting to get out of that house so badly. And I know that mental health has an energy. Mental health, when you're depressed and you have anxiety and you're living your life in almost a fog, you start to have a bad energy. So this could have been a mental health issue. But that doesn't make sense because there was no weapon. If she committed suicide and killed her family, there was no weapon. There's no weapon. So how did that happen? I keep going down these rabbit holes and then talking myself out of it. It's so strange. I think also the theory that someone killed them makes sense. I think that maybe we couldn't find how they were killed just based on their skeletal remains. I don't know. It's very odd. What do you think happened to the Jamison family? Comment below what you think. What theory do you believe? Do you have a new theory? What have you heard? This is a pretty popular case among a lot of people, and so I want to know what you think. This case is one of those that if you had like 3 chances to solve a case, what would you do? I would ask, what the heck happened to this? Like, this family, they completely normal Oklahoma family disappears. And then they're found dead, but there's no evidence to support any theory. Like, what happened? I have to know. It's crazy. So comment below your theories, your opinions. Thank you for joining me today on my crazy rabbit hole. This one was a little bit lighter than some of them that I've done. What do you think? Also, please comment below some suggestions for me to look into. I try really hard to get Midwest cases, but it's pretty hard to find things, especially obscure cases that people don't really know a lot about. So comment your case suggestions or things you want me to cover below. Thank you for joining me. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so that I can show up on your main page the next time that I post. And I will be seeing you guys later. Bye. I have to take a minute to say that these people have the most Oklahoma names I've ever heard. Sherilyn and Bobby down in Oklahoma. I'm not making fun of y'all. I'm from Kansas, so I'm right there with you. But Sherilyn and Bobby, I love it. I love it. Hey guys, thank you for watching. If you liked this video or any of my other content, please click the subscribe button and the bell and the like button to help me with my content and my channel as it grows. Also, follow me on social media platforms. Right now, my biggest form of communication outside of YouTube is TikTok, so please add me on there. I make some funny true crime content on there. So, thank you guys for watching. Love you!